Hi, today I'm going to be talking about and explaining the reaction that takes place in the elephant toothpaste experiment. I've never done this experiment before, but I have seen videos of it done in Chem 101 or on Rachel Ray or just on Facebook on the videos tab. So I chose to do the experiment from the video on our assignment webpage that was set up for beginners. I know in the YouTube video it had a beginner's experiment and an intermediate experiment. Part of the reason I chose to do the beginner's experiment was because it was much easier to find yeast in the grocery store as opposed to potassium iodide and 25 to 35% hydrogen peroxide. So that is part of the reason I chose the beginner's experiment. So here's a list of ingredients you need to complete this experiment. You need hydrogen peroxide, food coloring, dish soap, yeast, and warm water. I had two separate cups set up, one for the yeast mixture and one for the hydrogen peroxide, food coloring, and dish soap mixture. And then I put it on a plate so it wouldn't be as messy. With the warm water, the back of the yeast packet that I used said to use 1/4 cup warm water to activate the yeast. So that is how much water I used. For the hydrogen peroxide, I kind of eyeballed it. So I'll put a picture in right here so you can see all of the ingredients that I used. Alright, so for this experiment we're going to make two mixtures, and we're going to start out with the first mixture. The first mixture is a mixture of hydrogen peroxide, dish soap, and food coloring. And the second mixture is the yeast packet and warm water. So for the first mixture, like I said before, I eyeballed the amount of hydrogen peroxide. It didn't say an exact amount, so I tried to pour an amount that looked equivalent to the amount used in the YouTube video that we were supposed to watch. After that, I added a few drops of dish soap. I used Dawn dish soap and just put in like 3 to 5 drops, and then I used a knife and stirred it really well so that it was like a homogeneous mixture. And then I added food coloring, and I chose purple because I went to TCU and that's my alma mater, Go Frogs, and that is our school color. So, of course, I had to use purple. So after I added the food coloring, I stirred it in nice and well. And once that was stirred in with the dish soap and hydrogen peroxide, that was all for the mixture one, so I set it to the side. So now I started making the yeast and water mixture. So I put 1/4 cup water in the microwave for 1 minute, and then I emptied a yeast packet into a cup while that was in the microwave. And once that was out of the microwave, I took it and I poured the water into the yeast packet, and I stirred it together with a knife. And that was all you had to do for mixture 2. Super simple. So now I'm going to explain what I did after that. I took the hydrogen peroxide, food coloring, and dish soap mixture, and I put it on a plate in a glass, of course. And then I took the yeast and water mixture and I poured it into the mixture 1 in order to see a reaction take place. The reaction that took place in my experiment wasn't as grand as I hoped it would be, but it was good for my first try, so I'm not going to complain. So now I want to explain the reactions that took place in this experiment. First of all, the overall reaction of this experiment was that it was an exothermic reaction. I know this to be true because after the reaction took place, the product, aka the elephant toothpaste, was warm to touch. In exothermic reactions, heat is given off, whereas with endothermic reactions, heat is absorbed. So exothermic produces heat, endothermic absorbs heat, so it's going to be cooler. Decomposition also took place in this experiment with the hydrogen peroxide. The hydrogen peroxide was decomposed from H2O2 into H2O and O2, better known as water and oxygen. There was a catalyst in this experiment, and that was yeast. We see that when the explosion of foam took place, it was when the yeast was added into the mixture. And lastly, the reason that we see all the foam explode is because when we added the dish soap, when the hydrogen peroxide decomposed, the dish soap absorbed all of the excess O2, which gave us the appearance of foam. That is all I have for my experiment today, and thank you for watching.